simply spending time in nature is known to be wonderful for mental health, for our moods, to help to lift depression. It can help to calm anxiety states. We're exercising, and we know that there's a huge range of mental health benefits associated with exercise. And foraging is simply it's another dimension of being in nature. To forage, you have to apply yourself to the task of observation. You're looking and attempting to recognize plants or wild mushrooms that you're encountering, and the process of dropping into that state of observation necessary to forage helps to take us and remove us from our day-to-day mental state. There's a mindfulness involved with it. There's a calmness, a slowness, a stillness, and this is something that many foragers I've known over the years have described how powerful the experience of being in nature in this way is in terms of how you feel. From a personal perspective, if I spend time in nature, I may have stresses and anxieties, worries in my mind, and as soon as I'm out in foraging in nature, they cease to exist. They drift away. They seem small and maybe not insignificant, but small. They don't have the impact and the power that they have when I'm in the early hours of the morning and thoughts are whirring around my mind. It's a beautiful distraction. It takes me out of myself, and there are many benefits beyond that. If you go foraging, you might come home with a bountiful collection of delicious wild foods that you can prepare dishes with, and then the process of preparation of making something truly delicious out of the things that you've picked up in the wild rather than in your local supermarket. There's another level, another dimension of purposefulness and pleasure that comes from that. It's something that I really heartily recommend. Foraging has to be done safely. You've got to make sure you have your identification on the head 100%. There's no cutting corners, but there are some wonderful, really common, pretty easy to identify wild foods that we find largely across the UK, and it's a great opportunity to get to know them and engage with them. This plant down here is known as chickweed. It has tiny little white flowers and nice fleshy leaves and stems. They're perfect for salads. And it's so good to see the elderflower out. I've waited 12 months to see this since last year's harvest, and it's just beautiful to see it coming back out again. It's pretty early this year, and these flowers are highly aromatic and absolutely delicious, prepared in a few different ways. They make really nice cordial, make a very good wine, and you can make beautiful, very really delicious fritters with them and serve with a bit of honey as a dessert. And I've just found a really exciting wild food. It's springtime, it's May, and there's green all around, but actually if I turn this way, you can see we've got a tree here. This is an oak tree. If you work your way up the side of the oak tree, look at this, magnificent. This is something called the chicken of the woods mushroom, and this specimen here is huge. It must be about 1 kilo in weight. Stunning, golden yellow. When it's young and tender like this, it grows in folds like a shelf. It's sometimes called the sulphur shelf or sulphur polypore, but chicken of the woods is a pretty apt name because it has flesh that has a texture of chicken, and it's got a really pleasant taste. It needs to be cooked, but you can use it like you would chicken in casseroles, curries. You can make fried nuggets with it. It's really versatile and very hard to mistake for anything else. Quite beautiful.